What's up, trainers? Welcome back to another Pokemon TCGO video. Today we are going to be breaking down and giving a quick deck profile of the Jolteon Vmax deck. This deck is a sniper. Jolteon Vmax is probably an underrated card and you probably haven't seen much play, and we'll get to the reason why here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into the deck list. So in Evo Skies, we got a lot of evolution cards. Pretty much all of them had a V and VMAX version, which is really cool to see. Some of them weren't that great, but Jolteon VMAX is definitely one of the better ones. There is one problem in assembling the deck, however. For Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon, the only way to get the V cards from Evolving Skies is to pull the full art. There was not a regular version. To get the regular version, you'll have to track down some tins or buy the promo cards individually. So that can be kind of a problem for getting them physically and even online, because you do have to get the codes to get these Pokemon V, but I don't think they're that expensive on their own, and then you can easily obtain the VMAXs from packs. So let's go ahead and get started with Jolteon V here. 190 HP, not a lot, but it is some HP. Thunder Spear for 1 colorless does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. You could potentially use this because it does play into the Jolteon VMAX attack, but mainly you're going to be using some other Pokemon in here to get those damage counters on the board. Pin Missile for 1 lightning and 2 colorless does 60, Flip for coins does 60 for each heads, not the attack we're going to be using. So we do have 4 copies of the Jolteon V that evolve into 3 copies of Jolteon VMAX. You could run 4 if you wanted to, but I didn't think 4 was quite necessary. I just went for 3. So 300 HP on here, kind of the minimum for Pokemon VMAX. Max Thunder Rumble is the attack on here. Comes at the cost of just 1 lightning and colorless, which is not too shabby. 100 damage, and this attack also does 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So this is a great attack because it has very low energy cost. We played 3 copies of Elemental Badge in here, which actually brings the cost of this attack down to just 1 lightning energy. So you can easily get some energy on here to use Max Thunder Rumble, and then the other Pokemon we play in this deck make it very easy to put some damage counters on the bench Pokemon and dish out that extra 100. So while you may not be able to one-shot some of your opponent's Pokemon, you can set up some multi-hit knockouts and snipe some Pokemon that are on a bench. This is a very good attacker, believe it or not. So then we have the Inteleon Evolution Chain, which basically goes hand in hand with Jolteon. So you may also have some trouble obtaining a Rapid Strike Inteleon. As you can see here, I actually only have 1. I just have 3 color. So you may actually have some trouble obtaining Rapid Strike Inteleon. So one alternative to this deck is to play more than 1 copy of Grand Zigzagoon. You could go with 4 and then up the count of Scoop Up Net so you can place those damage counters, because you actually only need to get 1 on there to get the Max Thunder Rumble bonus. Inteleon is just a little bit more consistent because its ability can be activated every turn, whereas Zigzagoon needs to be scooped up to be and then put down to activate the ability again. So that is one alternative if you're looking to play this as more of a budget deck. But then we have the Inteleon Evolution Chain with 4 copies of Rapid Strike Sobble, so we could use Keep Calling if we want. Drizzile is a great engine in any deck that uses the Inteleon Evolution Chain because it has shady dealings. It says when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve on your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So this could be a variety of trainer cards. As you can see, there's quite a few in here. It could be that Elemental Badge you need to lower the cost of your attack. Maybe a Scoop Up Net to grab Zigzagoon or one of these Pokemon search cards. Whatever you need, Drizzile can pretty much always find it. And then the Inteleons to end off the chain, we have 3 of the Rapid Strike Inteleon in addition to 1 Shady Dealings Inteleon in case we need to grab some more trainer cards. But mostly you're going to be using this Rapid Strike Inteleon because it has quick shooting. Once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can obviously see the relationship between Quick Shooting and Max Thunder Rumble. Quick Shooting puts the damage counters on the board, and then Max Thunder Rumble dishes out the big damage. So Inteleon and Jolteon Vmax do go hand in hand and make a good team. And then we have one copy of Glowing Zigzagoon if you're struggling to get out your Rapid Strike Inteleon. Zigzagoon can place some extra damage counters and add to maybe the only 1 or 2 usages of quick shooting that you may activate during your turn. So those are the Pokemon. Now let's get into the stadium cards. So this deck uses the Inteleon Evolution Chain, which is kind of a substitute for Crobat V in a lot of decks. It allows you to go find the cards you need instead of using Crobat V to just hopefully draw the cards you need. And so we do have the benefit of being able to play Path to the Peak. So Path to the Peak is a good stadium. Other stadiums that you may see are like Training Court in a lot of decks. But in this deck, we really don't need to be getting our energy back because we only need 1 essentially to use Max Thunder Rumble. So Path to the Peak is a good one in here to shut down Shadow Rider, Zacian, any decks that rely on those abilities. So obviously it shuts those down and then doesn't interfere with our gameplay. So Path to the Peak, 2 copies is a great card. We have 4 copies of Professor's Research. Obviously, Inteleon can go find those specific cards, but in case you just need to draw a big hand, Professor's Research can do that. As well as Marnie can refresh your hand and disrupt your opponent. If they have a large hand size, Marnie can bring that down to just 4. Boss's Orders. So Boss's Orders is actually a big card for this deck. So as we mentioned, Max Thunder Rumble doesn't do all that much damage. It does a lot of damage across the board, but not a ton in one hit. So if you damage your Pokemon a little bit and you're looking to finish it off, Boss's Orders can do that. If that Pokemon is hiding on the bench, you can bring it up and then take it out with another Max Thunder Rumble attack, and it can set up for some nice KOs. So those are the supporter cards. Nothing too crazy for the supporters, and there's not really a supporter card that goes directly with Jolteon. So just Boss, Marnie, and Professor's Research. And then we have the trainer cards. So we have 1 Energy Search. This is a card I like to play in decks that run the Inteleon Evolution Chain. So it allows you to search your deck for basic energy, reveal it, and put it into your hand. This is just great because it takes Drizzile to another level, because Drizzile can go find you a trainer card, which can go find you a Pokemon, which can go find you energy, or it can just be a trainer card. So I like to have an Energy Search in here to give me all the options, and we can go find this 1 copy of Lightning Energy if we need it. And then we have 3 Evo Incense, so we can go find our Inteleon and Drizziles and Jolteons. Evo Incense is definitely a good card for this deck because Level Ball we do play, but that can only get you Drizzile, Sabo, and Zigzagoon. Jolteon Vmax and those Inteleon have a little bit more HP, so we do need Evo Incense to go find those. And then Level Ball. So Level Ball is a good card in a lot of decks right now because there's a lot of Pokemon that are using as tech cards that have less than 90 HP or have 90 HP. So obviously it can help us find Sabo and Zigzagoon as well as Drizzile. If you want to play this deck maybe using the Flaffy engine, Level Ball could also help you find Mareeps and Flaffies. 4 copies of Quick Ball. Obviously this is needed to get out those Jolteon V because Level Ball can find you some things but not all of the things. So we do need Quick Ball to go find Jolteon V because it has 100 more HP than 90. So Quick Ball is definitely essential. And then we have 2 Scoop Up Nets. So we only play 1 copy of Zigzagoon and we're probably going to want to use him more than 1 time. So we do want to have 2 copies of Scoop Up Net so we can scoop him up, put him back down, and use Headbutt Tantrum again. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to go harder on the Zigzagoon, you can up the count of it and up the count of Scoop Up Net as well. There's 3 copies of Switch in here, so you can switch your Pokemon in and out. So this Pokemon does have free retreat, which is really cool. So I do have Switch in here in case you need to switch your Inteleons in and out. And then I was also trying to find some cards just to fill this deck up. You could add some more energy if you want, but Switch isn't entirely essential. You probably don't need the 3 copies, maybe just 2 or 1, but that's just what I went with. You could probably take one of these out for another energy, or maybe if you're looking to play a 4th copy of Jolteon Vmax and Elemental Badge, you could lower the Switch count. Elemental Badge, as I mentioned earlier, goes great with Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon because it says that if the Pokemon V this card is attached to has Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon in its name, its attacks cost 1 colorless less, which brings our max Thunder Rumble attack down to just 1 Lightning Energy, which is pretty awesome. It's a very low cost for the amount of damage this attack can do. So Elemental Badge is definitely an essential card in here, and obviously if you play a 4th copy of Jolteon Vmax, you will want a 4th Elemental Badge. And then the energies finishing out, we have 4 copies of Speed Lightning Energy. So this is just pretty much a basic Lightning Energy in terms of this deck. In other decks it might function a little differently, but in this deck we just throw Speed Lightning Energy on there as our Lightning Energy we need to attack, and it draws us 2 extra cards, which is sweet. Who doesn't love to draw 2 extra cards when they attach your energy for the turn? As well as 4 basic Lightning Energy. You obviously don't need a ton of energy in this deck because it only costs 1, but you don't want to have almost no energy in your deck because you do want to be able to find it so you can attach it to your Jolteon. That was the deck breakdown and deck profile of Jolteon Vmax. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And when you do that, click the notification bell so you don't miss new videos. I upload new videos on Mondays and Thursdays. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Jolteon Vmax deck. Do you prefer to play with the Inteleon Evolution Chain, or do you go harder with the Zigzagoon? Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, trainers.